Hello everyone, back to tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 29th of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with its GFS and ECM ensembles, baby on Transical weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That gets us to the middle of December, and I shall get on back for you in a moment. Just say that first. The video says our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Please like, share, and subscribe on both of today's videos. So everyone for doing that. We've reached 19.1k. Can you believe it? We've got our first 100 within 19k. So we're pushing on now to 19.2k. And we only need to put on 97 subscribers to get to 19.2k. So if you could give us a sub, tell your friends and family to subscribe. That'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Subs moving really, really quickly just recently. Thanks so much, everyone. And thank you so much to our donators on our Just Giving page as well. We're giving away the Christmas jumper, Star Wars Christmas jumper. It's Gavin and Richard's Christmas fundraiser for Rainbow's Hospice for children and young people. So about 6 donations so far. You'll all be going on to the name picker. And on Sunday's live stream, somebody is going to win, let me just show you it, this amazing jumper. So there we go. We're asking for £5 minimum donations. So thank you so much, everybody who has pledged £5 minimum so far. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I say you'll be going onto the name picker, and somebody's going to win that Chris jumper. The Chris jumper is small size, so even if it doesn't fit you, though, it could work as a present for somebody. You know, if you've got children or something, then it will work for that, wouldn't it? But anyway, thank you so much, everyone who has donated so far, and still got plenty of time to, pledge a £5 and get yourself onto the name picker and have a chance of winning this lovely Christmas jumper. Link to our Just Giving page is in the description of the video. As I said, we're raising money for Rainbow's Hospice. They provide vital care for babies, children, and young people with life-limiting and terminal conditions, and their families as well. So it's an absolutely wonderful cause, and we thank you so much, everybody, for getting involved and doing that. So thank you so much, everyone. Right, let's talk a little bit about the snow. So there was snow around this morning. I had some snow here in the towers around 6, 7 a.m. It was absolutely hammering down, actually, with snow. And we had quite a nice covering on the garden and on the trees, etc. Not that much on the pavements and the roads, luckily, for around here. But, like, a little further to the west, I know some parts of the West Midlands, for example, had a real dumping of snow. Wasn't particularly well forecast by UKV. Right at the very end, when it updated for the freeze there this morning, it did pick it up, but it's too little too late. No point picking it up while it's actually happening, is it? So there we see it, heavy snow there through Wales into the Midlands, just as our pairs have been forecasting for the last couple of days. As I say, UKV got there in the end, but it was a pretty poor performance, I have to say, with this with the snow then from UKV there. The snow moving southwards and fizzling out this afternoon, turning to rain once it gets down south. Tonight can be very cold, frosty, icy, snow showers into Scotland, wintry showers peppering the western and the eastern coastal fringes. That takes us through in tomorrow on what should be a nice sunny day, but will be cold. Have to wrap up if you're off out and about tomorrow. And then we go through it in a Thursday. There could be some rain since over far south and southwest on Thursday. And a few snow showers coming southwards as well. Into Friday, quieter day. Still some wintry showers left in the far north and northwest, but many of those showers dying out as a ridge of high pressure builds up, but only ahead of the next significant low. And that low bringing a proper spell of heavy rain and potentially some heavy snow in the north, transitional snow through the course of Saturday. As it turns milder, any snow risk will retreat to Scottish mountains, and generally we're looking at quite a lot of heavy rain through the course of the weekend. Also some pretty strong winds with that as well. We'll know a little bit more in a couple of days what's happening with that storm. This is our pairs. I think our pairs did very well. with this snow event. I would say hats off to Meteo France and hats off to Arpege. Normally, as I said on live stream, I think it's on certainly Arpege, is normally quite stingy with snow, but this time our pairs, was forecasting more snow than most of the other high-res models, and in the right area as well, really. So that situation that pairs was seeing from the midnight run for 7 a.m. about right, I think. With the southern and eastward extent of that snow. Snow fizzling out through the course of this afternoon as it clears way to south. Then snow showers into Scotland and wintry showers around those western and eastern coasts through tonight and into tomorrow as well. And then we go on into Thursday. A little bit of rain, sleet, maybe a little bit of snow in the far south and southwest. Most of that is into France, though. But wintry showers could band together during the course of Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, perhaps for more western regions anyway. So if you're in the west, you might get a band of snow showers pushing through, perhaps during the course of Thursday afternoon, evening. Friday is a quieter day, with wintry showers dying out. Little transient ridge builds up, but only ahead of the next area of low pressure, that coming in through the course of Friday night and Saturday morning, bringing lots of heavy rain into the west, begin to turn to snow by 6 a.m. through northern England and into Scotland. That would be a transitional snow event, though. The snow will turn back to rain as the milder southwesterly winds tuck in. And then that's the end of the cold spell for now. However, we may get some more cold weather before month's end, and more about that later on in the video. But it's time to the snow then. Congratulations to those of you who got snow. Commiserations to those of you, particularly myself, but missed out. Better luck next time. And yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the Arpege model is setting the scene for this winter, and Arpege will be what to be in terms of its snow forecast and predictions. We shall see. But hats off to Arpege for this particular snow event, I think. Right, okay, so central England temperature is now sitting at 8.5, which is 2.1 degrees above 61 to 1990 average, and that is provisional to yesterday, to the 18th of November there. So it's coming down quite quickly, and those drops will accelerate further over the next few days, as we are in some really quite cold and frosty, icy nights. These are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at rugby today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for rugby. We're starting off colder than average for the next few days. We do see the upper air temperatures lifting up into the weekend. That's as it turns rather stormy. Then they're coming back down again to the early part of next week, turning a little bit chilly again then. And then beyond that, through the final days of November into December, quite close to the long-term average, really, I think. But that does mask a fair amount of scatter, though. So we've got milder ensemble members up here, and we've got colder ensemble members down there. So it's a little bit uncertain where we're going into early December. Precipitation-wise, there's the spike that brought the snow to central Britain and, into the west as well. Well, we've got some dry days coming out over the next few days. The next sort of notable precipitation is going to be over the weekend, when it turns wet and windy, heavy rain and gale force winds sweeping the country. And then the end of November, start of December, looking rather mixed as well. Some pretty big precipitation spikes coming through there as well. So we could be in for more unsettled spell. But I think there's quite a bit of uncertainty. We'll go through the chart data, but I think there's quite a bit of uncertainty for the early December period, though. Temperature anomalies from the 19th to 27th of November, colder than average, and precipitation anomalies from the 19th to 27th of November, average or slightly wetter than normal, especially south and in the far north. The latest wind from nullschool.net shows the low pressure is clearing away to the east today, and winds are pulling in to a colder northerly. If we drag the map down, we can see that the air is originating from a long way north. It's a true Arctic sourced airstream that's plunging down into the north and into the west of Europe. Right, let's start going through chart data then. Let's do that. So this is how things are looking with the UK Met Euro run for midnight on Friday. Northerly winds still cold and wintry. Into the weekend though, this area of low pressure out to the west becomes an important player that sweeps into the northwest of Scotland. Take back tides, but it's going to be windy, but also bring a milder push of air from the southwest, so milder, wet and windy as we go into the weekend. Could be quite stormy. And then that low pressure moves away to the northeast through the beginning of next week, with a ridge building behind it, turning drier and a little bit colder, I think, as we go into the early part of next week. Under that ridge could see the return of some overnight frost. Icon, again, looking cold and wintry on Friday, then turning wet and windy over the weekend. A little bit further southwards with that area of low pressure means that Scotland could actually stay within the cold air throughout much of the weekend. And by the beginning of next week, we see a ridge building and the colder air starts to come back southwards again as we go into the early part of next week under this little ridge of high pressure. So just about hanging on to cold conditions throughout for Scotland, and all places turning colder by the beginning of next week after a milder, wetter and windier weekend. The KMA again looking wintry on Friday, then wet and windy, quite stormy into Saturday. Proper old winter gale going on then. High pressure building behind it, so it's going to be quite cold as that low pressure clears out of the way with risk of some frost and fog. That's a setup when we get to the end of the KMA run. It gets us to the 1st of December. So we're under a ridge of high pressure, probably bringing in frosty, quite cold conditions off the continent. Notice heights relatively high over Greenland, as well again. So you could envisage that we could easily go back into a cold northerly or northeasterly from that. That gets us to the 1st of December. Right, quite interesting model output again today, isn't it? So although it is going to get milder at the weekend, it's not necessarily going to stay mild for very long, you know, with this, but we shall see. Right, anyway, going to carry on. This other GFS midnight run is looking cold northerly winds for Friday. Wet and windy and much milder with southwesterly winds over the weekend, quite stormy. Into the beginning of next week, the low pressure moves up towards Norway, with just high pressure builds behind it. That brings some cooler air back, maybe some slightly colder air back. And then through the second half of next week, the high pressure look going up towards Scandinavia and pulling in east wind. It's not particularly cold easterly, but it's interesting that high pressure is trying to get South Scandinavia there and pull the wind around to an easterly. That would be a very dank easterly, I think, bringing a lot of cloud, murk, and, you know, perhaps a bit of sleet from the east. But I say not a particularly cold source easterly. It's more the pattern that's interesting. High pressure wants to get Scandinavia here at the end of November. Well, we go into the beginning of December, and the high pressure relocates to the southwest. So we finish up on the 5th of December. High pressure to the southwest, reaching into Western Europe. So still mainly dry with that, but quite a bit milder. And then the 6Z, GFS 6Z by comparison, again, look cold and wintry on Friday. Then we turn much milder, wetter and windier over the weekend. Heavy rain sweeping the country and strong winds as well. Early next week takes that low pressure away to the east. A ridge starts building to the west and to the northwest. So back we go into colder conditions. Not as cold as it is now, but we're back to colder conditions through the course of next week. High pressure up over Scandinavia, winds coming in from the east, certainly chilly, if not quite cold. And this low could be bringing some showery rain, maybe a bit of sleet into the south as well. Beyond that, the high pressure tries to stand its ground across Scandinavia, but it is coming under quite a bit of pressure from the Atlantic. Nevertheless, we basically stay under high pressure there through to the 5th of December, and with the drift off the continent, it will probably be quite cold with the risk of overnight frost and whatnot. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids and get them to subscribe too. We thank you so much everyone for doing that. We need to put on 97 subscribers to get to 19.2k. We've just gone past 19.1k. So thank you so much everyone for getting us this far. And let's push on to 19.2k as quick as we can. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, GM, again, winds in from north, cold and wintry on Friday. Over the weekend, turns mild, wet and windy with low pressure sweeping in from off the Atlantic. That low pressure gradually moving away to the east to the start of next week with a ridge building out into the North Atlantic again, so becoming drier and colder through the early to middle part of next week, and then low pressure heading back up from the southwest, turning it milder, wetter and windier perhaps by around day 10. That's the 29th of November. And then the east rounds it all off. Cold northerly winds, cold and wintry on Friday. Mild, wet and windy over the weekend. Could be quite stormy, especially in the west. Through to the start of next week. Low pressure moves towards Norway. Ridge building out to the Atlantic, becoming drier and colder through the early to middle part of next week. Then we go back into those milder southwesterlies as we get through towards the end of next week. A lot of uncertainty, isn't there, with the model output for that day, sort of 8, 9, 10 period. Very, very uncertain scene. This is my precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. I think the ECM did quite well with this event, by the way. So we've been giving plaudits to our pairs, but I think the ECM done pretty well with this as well. Same as snow there through Wales and Midlands as it was yesterday. Anyway, that's all out of the way now, or getting out of the way. And then we're into those snow showers in the north and around the coastal fringes through the rest of this week. Could be some snow in the far southwest towards Thursday. And maybe bring a band of snow showers south as well Thursday into Friday. That's one to watch. All change over weekend. Turns wet and windy. Heavy rain sweeping in from the Atlantic. Could be some transitional snow in the north, but will quickly go back to rain as those milder southwesterly winds tuck in. And looking very wet, actually, over the weekend. A lot of heavy rain to come. And some pretty strong winds as well. Oh, dear. Through the course of next week, it turns drier and a bit colder for a while, but back to wet weather around days 9 and 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today. For day 10 gets us 29th of November. 29 members of the ECM ensembles have a ridge to the east, low pressure out to the west, so you will think that's going to be bringing in some chillier air from the east. And then we have 22 with a ridge through the west of Europe, low pressures out to the Atlantic. That's going to be milder, but again, should have quite a bit of dry weather with it. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It'll get us to the 12th of December. 21 members of the ECM ensembles with a Scandinavian high. Winds coming in from the east, mostly dry, but could be a bit cold. We've got 18 with high pressure right over top of the country. Again, mostly dry, but might be a little bit of frost and fog. And 12 with a lower pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. Could be a little bit showery with that area of low pressure, but probably quite mild. But notice the heights are relatively high up towards Greenland again. So, I mean, the trends are interesting here, I think. For repeated attempts to get high pressure into interesting places. I'll say no more than that. CFS V2 finally beats a 500 millibar height on, just breaking down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 19th to 25th of November. Next week looks cold and wintry, low pressure to the north and the east, high pressure blocking to the northwest, winds coming in from a cold north or northeasterly direction. Week 2 be 26th November, 2nd of December, a ridge through the west of Europe, mostly dry, but could be a bit chilly and about high pressure with the risk of some frost and fog. Week 3 will be the 3rd to the 9th of December. High pressure still in control, but might be starting to drag in some milder air from the south or southwest with that one. And then finally, week 4 will be the 10th to the 16th of December with high pressure over the north and west of Europe. A lot of dry weather, but again, there could be some frost and fog. The air looks like it's basically coming in from off the continent, so it's certainly not a particularly mild outlook, though. The coldest weather with that is probably going down into southeastern parts of Europe with this trough through here. But nevertheless, we could get some frost and fog about high pressure. Does look quite anticyclonic as well still as we go into December. Right, we'll see, Bo. A lot of uncertainty, I think, for December, but we're done. So if you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Drop a comment as to what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. And make sure you check out the Just Give Me page as well for our Christmas giveaway and raising money for Rainbow's Hospice. Right, well, tomorrow we're going to for 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. We're going to have the extended European outlook. We're going to be live at 6 p.m. with your 10 to 14 dayer, and if all of that wasn't enough, we'll have latest and sort of Christmas countdown as well. So plenty to look forward to on chat tomorrow. Keep checking back for more. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.